at the Inspired Business Cafe, and this is October the 4th of 2016. I do believe that I tried to dig back into my YouTube. In fact, I printed out a bunch of my old YouTube page after page, and I'm pretty sure I started doing the October Inspired Business Cafes, or I started the Inspired Business Cafe 4 years ago this month. So that's a big milestone. That means every single month for 4 years now, I have gotten on here on this program, this system, and welcomed you guys and taught a training, and all of those are over on YouTube. So, basically there's a lot of benefits to doing things consistently over and over and over again, and really building your brand and building a place for people to come. So let's go ahead and dive in and start us off with prayer. All right, Father God, thank you so much for this this concept and this place to gather, the Inspired Business Cafe. And Lord, thank you that I have determination and fortitude to not give up. And Lord, that this is a place where we've met new members, where we've gathered, where we've learned, and where we've attracted people that maybe we've never would have found us before. And Lord, help us to just share and teach what we've learned. Lord, that's what this call is about today, about sales and marketing. And Lord, just give us courage. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right, so welcome. For those of you that maybe are new or coming in later, let's just dive in. This is October 2016, and the concept for today, is sales is not a four-letter word. We can get all fired up and worked up and afraid of selling anything, and we don't want to be too salesy, and we don't, we have all these issues. So we're going to talk about it today. Before we do that, I wanted to just tell you who we are and where we are. I'm the founder of the National Association of Christian Women Entrepreneurs. We'll just go ahead and draw on the page here because we can. And if you have not updated, if you have an iPhone and you haven't updated to the new operating system, first of all, it's kind of freaky and scary, but I did it. And then I found out there's some cool things. So some of you got a text message from me this morning that I actually was able to draw and say good morning onto that. So yes, very cool. It's fun to be able to use your drawing capacity on your phone too. All right, so the National Association, we're here to connect, to create, to collaborate. That's what we do every single time we go on one of these calls. And our mission here, and I say this every week, every time we gather, and so if you've been here a million times, I apologize, but it's important. It's important to remember our mission and why we're here and how we got started. And I hope you have that written down and share it with your people as well. Our mission is to train, empower, and inspire Christian women as they build their entrepreneurial business. It's why I started NACWE 6.5 years ago, and why it's continued to continue to go down the road all these years. And we do this in those 3 ways, and we're doing that right now. We're connecting right here virtually from all across the United States and Canada, and then this will be out on YouTube, connecting to more and more people. We do that through creating idea sharing, concepts, resources, vision, prayers. We pray for each other all the time in our private group, and we collaborate. Most of the time, the best thing that really fires me up is being able to connect people. This person needs this person, and this gal needs to know this gal, and this website designer needs to help this girl creating a website. So a lot of what we do is these referrals and networking, which really makes me very happy. This is who I am. Why don't you guys all introduce yourself, because that's what we do in the little chat box. Who are you? Where do you live? And what's your business? Post your little website link and all that, because again, we post this on YouTube. We post it every single month, and other people watch these. People go and find these based on the topic that I put in. So the topic I'm going to put in today is sales is not a 4-letter word. There's going to be other women, Christian women, that are going to be seeking to find that. So you never know how people will find you. You just never know. A coach, mentor, I need to change this. 7, the number is 7 now. Fun friend, a coffee addict. I'm going to show you our new book, because now I have it. Last month I didn't have it. Yay. And all those other things. I'm not going to go into all that. But basically, we're going to talk today about sales and marketing. But also, really what I want you to hear is I had a little conversation last night that was a reminder to me of the fact that people will hire you. People will hire you for who you are and what you bring to the table. And often we forget what we bring to the table. Okay, we forget, and sometimes people will tell us. In fact, the girl I had dinner with last night reminded me of something I bring to the table that's unique. So we'll go into that in a little bit. And for those of you that are not NACWE members, some of you already are, so rock on to our NACWE members. We're so glad you're here. We are having our virtual conference. Now, I had dropped the ball a bit. You know, I'm really honest about the fact that when I mess up, I just say it, and that's pretty cool. So, are you ready to be a Christian woman who embraces the change, you know, or embraces uncomfortableness, or embraces mistakes with grace and ease? Well, you know, have at it. Come join us. We have our virtual conference next Friday, not this Friday, because I'm going to be at the Heart Art Retreat. But next Friday, October 14th, we have our virtual conference, which is going to be open. It's for NACWE members only, but we basically kind of opened up the doors, and it's for all the 3 levels. There's only 2 levels now, but there used to be 3. So you all have a ticket, and it'll be that day with interviews and cool stuff going on that day. And then we also, sorry, this is kind of blurry, but this is our expert for this month, Sang, and she is a copywriter and a guru of sales things, and she's going to be teaching about why your communication matters. She's a woman that studies the words, and she's brilliant at asking you the questions. So every time I ask her a question, she asks me like 10 questions back. Okay, so. And then we just finished up. I want to just acknowledge that some of our authors are here, and we just had a book signing. I think it was a week ago, we had a live book signing, and last week we were doing 3 days of downloading the book for free. It's not free anymore, sister, but you can sure get it for $4.99 on Amazon, or you can buy a hardback copy, autographed from me, and all of that is over on artofbraveliving.com. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So let's dive in. Everybody have paper to take notes and learn today. So sales is not a 4-letter word. Sales is not a 4-letter word. And so here are a couple definitions of sales. Okay, you can Google and find out the answers to everything. The exchange of goods or services for an amount of money or its equivalent. The act of selling. Let me just go ahead and ask in the group. How do you feel about sales? When I talk about sales, let's just go ahead and I'll have a little virtual conversation. When I talk about sales, does that make you cringy? Does that bring up a cringy feeling? And that's a good definition, a cringy. Does it bring up the fear of not knowing how to sell something? Does it make you think of the used car dealership and being swarmed? So when I talk about sales, so I need you to all answer. This is an interactive experience here. So tell me 1 or 2 words that come up for you, 2 feeling words that come up for you when I say sales. And to answer Marcia's question, it's throughout that day, 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and then a bonus webinar will be dropped in. So it's throughout the day on Friday the 14th. Okay, nobody's answering my question, so I'm going to ask it again. When I say the word sales, what are 2 feeling words that come up for you? Confusion, overwhelm, nervousness, fear, failure. Pam says sales, yuck, car salesy. Okay, anybody else gonna play along with me here? What are some of the things that come up when you hear this word, sales? That's our conversation today, so you must be here to learn something about it. Okay, cringe. Not true, yucky, uncomfortable, fine, sharing. Okay, cool. Okay, so here's some of the other definitions. An instance of selling. We get sold to all day, and we purchase things all day. So an opportunity for selling or being sold, an availability for purchase, is selling a property to the highest bidder at auction, okay? Selling is just a thing. We have to do lots of things in our business. And some of those things we're going to like, and some of those things we're not going to like, and it's going to be okay. I mean, I don't like to do money and taxes. But, you know, I guess that's kind of part of what comes with the process. And so yeah, there's things that are going to be fun, and then there's things that are going to be more cringy. And if you want to own a business, we have to learn to deal with all of those things. So some of the sales mistakes that I have had, and you might relate to some of these. So if you relate, just say, yep, yep. Mistake number one I've dealt with is the fear of the money, fear of asking for the money, fear of conversations about the money, fear of looking at the numbers, fear, fear, fear. Mistake number two is not asking for the sale or closing the deal. I used to do all of these great trainings and conversations and workshops and programs, and I never sold anything. And because I was afraid of doing the sales part at the end, because I didn't want to be too salesy. And imagine that, I didn't make any money. I didn't make any money. I was out teaching and doing so many things and running around, and I wasn't making any money. Okay, so let's get real honest here. Because I wasn't ever offering something that would have been related to the conversation that I just had. So let's say I was speaking at a networking event. I never offered, I mean, I made an offer, but I did it too hesitantly. I was afraid. I was afraid because I didn't know if anybody was going to buy it, and I didn't want to be rejected. Let's be honest. I didn't want to be rejected. I didn't know. I just didn't know because I didn't have training in that. My training was in counseling. My training was in people. And so I didn't know that I was going to need to talk to 10 people to maybe make 1 or 2 sales. Okay? You need to know how many people you have to talk to in order to make a certain amount of sales to basically bring in the clients. And that's called your conversion. Your conversion. And everybody has a different number of conversion. And so you're going to have to talk to many, many people in order to bring in people that click the button. You know, if they don't ever click the link, then nothing has transpired, right? All right. Under earning, mistake number 3. Under earning. We talked about that a lot last month on the training, so I'm not going to go too deep into that. Last month, our conversation was all about money and monetization the entire month of September. So there's a webinar that we just did on that. We had experts on that, and so we're not going to go deep into that. But this is a great conversation to have right after that because it's about our sales, and so money, sales equal. Mistake number 4, not having a system or a process. Now, some of you might be willing to admit this. I don't know. Do you have a system or a process of how you sell something? Who's willing to admit whether they do or don't? Do you have a system of how, if somebody asks you about your item, is there a system or process that you take them through? Okay. Do you have them fill out a form? Do you have them get on a phone call? Do you offer them, do you send them a proposal? And then do you send them a payment link? And then so the more you build that little system into place, and then you also need there's going to be lots of different systems that you will have, and the more you systematize those processes, then you can learn how to bring them through the funnel. Okay, so mistake number 5 is being vague. We can be very vague, and I'm guilty of all these things. I'm just going to raise my hand for the whole page. Vague in what I'm selling, vague in the conversation, vague in the pricing, vague because I want to reach everybody. We don't want to exclude anybody, because you know what, there's that one person. You know, we want to be able to get the money, we want to be able to sell something, and we want to not cut anybody out, right? So we end up getting vague, because then we're kind of being a little more neutral. Let's be neutral. But the more neutral you are, the less you're going to sell. Okay? Give me the high five. Give me the high five. I'm speaking the truth here. The more neutral you are, the less you're going to sell anything. Okay? It's uncomfortable, but you have to narrow your niche. Get very, very clear who you serve and who you do not serve, because that's how you're going to finally have some crossover, some sales, some conversion. Mistake number 6 is not understanding our value. Not understanding our value, and we do this constantly. We do this by not having appropriate boundaries. All right, and let's just all wave our little, hi, I don't have appropriate boundaries, because we're all guilty of this. We're all guilty of the vagueness. We're all guilty of not understanding our value. We all undercut ourselves. And you know what? When we undercut ourselves, we're actually undercutting our sisters too. And we don't quite see that. It's hard to see that because, and here's an example. If I'm selling this book for a certain amount and I have 23 women in there with me, well, if I sell it for less over here and than she is, then I'm undercutting my sister. We all have a certain honor to uphold, especially if you're doing something as a collaboration. But we have to understand our value, the value of the book. And a book is something I can hold up and show you, right? But we don't understand our value of our time, your time. Because what you're really selling, most of you that are here, you're selling your time. You're selling your intellectual property. You're selling the training that you've received this year, last year, 5 years ago, back in college, etc., etc. You're paying. Your people are paying for your experience that you got officially and your life experience. And mistake number 7 is silence. There's a lot of people, and here's what I mean by this. If you never say anything, if you never promote your thing, that's a mistake. That's a mistake. And you know what? You're not going to really make any money if you never tell me anything about your program. You know, we have to see it over and you're going to feel like you're saying it way too many times. It's uncomfortable. I mean, I've had to learn to be so uncomfortable and send out these emails, okay? You know, send out the email. And you ladies get my emails, and it's still uncomfortable, and I know you. And some people opt out. People opt out. But if I need to promote something, a conference, the ending of a book sale, of something, I've got to tell you again and again, because guess what? You forget. You forget. I forget. We all get, you know, bombarded all day long with all this stuff. So silence really is going to be a sales mistake for you. So you have to learn. Here's the hard part. We have to learn how to be comfortable speaking out and sharing about the message about what we bring to the table. Okay, what you bring, what you uniquely bring to the table. So here we go. Anybody learning anything right now? I'm trying to check in on the chat box. Okay, awesome. Hi, Shelly. Hi, Pam. We've had a couple ladies join us since we got on. Welcome, welcome. Hi, Carrie. And yes. Hi. 5 simple tips to help you get more comfortable with sales. All right, grab your notebook. The S. So every single one of these is a piece of your little puzzle here. So we're going to go through the S, the A, L, the E, and the F, and the S. And let me do just a disclaimer. Let me do a disclaimer. Oh, I need a lot of water today. Here's a disclaimer. I would say that, I think most of us say, oh, I'm not an expert in that. And that might be true. But guess what? I can also say, you know what? I am an expert in this. I've sold a few things. So I always come every single time I teach one of these, and I'm going to teach you what my experience, my training, my hope, my journey has been. Okay? And I'm going to bring in other experts to teach their experience, what they're an expert on. And then twice a month at NACWE, we have a conversation, which is very, very valuable. It's like a coaching little group looking at each other, and we do that on the 2nd and the 4th Tuesday, where we come together and we have a conversation about sales, about marketing, about the things that make us scared about it. And so everything I teach you today is sales according to Diane Cunningham, okay? And so I'll just teach you. I've kept this association up and going for 6.5 years. I created it from zero, and we're still here. And so I'm going to teach you what I've done. So share. The S in your sales is sharing. Now, I'm going to a conference tomorrow. Many of you know Karina, and this is Beverly next to her. And so this morning I just grabbed some different images. I wouldn't have known about this unless they had shared it with me, okay? You didn't know about this, and except that I share about this cafe every single month. So really the S in your sales is the fact that you need to share. You're sharing what you've learned. People ask me all the time, how do you write a book? And so that's something I now teach and coach people on. One of the women in the room, Rhonda, is in a coaching program with me. We meet this afternoon because she is learning how to do her own collaboration book. So give a bravo out to Rhonda, who's in the midst of that right now. So the S in your sales is, and these are the ways hopefully to simplify the conversation. The S is about sharing what you have coming up. I remember my first couple trainings and little seminars I did in Helotes, Texas. And one was called Life is a Marathon, Learn How to Run. One was called Dreams and Goals for Grown-Ups. And I just made a little tiny postcard. There was no Facebook. I made a little tiny postcard and I hung it up at my local Starbucks. And we handed it out at the little tiny church I went to. I was sharing because I wanted to teach on that. Dreams and Goals for Grown-Ups. This is long before there was NACWE. NACWE wasn't born at all for years after that. But I was sharing about what I was going through. So share. S is for share. The A in sales is ask. The A in the sales is to ask. Okay, you guys still here? Whoops. Okay, you guys, here's the trouble. I just got a phone call and it came in and came over top of my webinar. So just want to check and make sure everybody's still here. All right, looks like we are. You know, modern technology, good golly. I think that means I should turn my thing on to airplane mode. Oh, baby. Okay, the A in sales is ask. Ask, seek, knock. Okay, so really, if you go back to the basics, this is a Bible verse, obviously. Who can tell me what verse this is? All of you good Bible-thumping girls that know the Bible. I know it's in Matthew. Ask, seek, knock. Knock. Knock, knock. The A in sales is ask. So we've shared what we have. We've shared, right? So the S is our sharing. Let's see if these help. Let's just try it. The A in sales is for ask. The sales. And then we have to ask. So part of really what we have to learn to do is ask these questions. Right here, we've added this onto our fan page last night, and this is us asking questions. We're asking people to join us. Look, we made our own little sign there. And we're asking a question right here. Are you ready? Are you ready? So make sure that you learn to ask those right questions. So ask those questions so that you can know what your people are wanting from you. And again, that's going to be a big part of our conversations this entire month. I have questions written all over my wall. Actually, let's just go ahead and just do this right here. Look at this, right on my wall. I have this written down. Let's go back to the slide before. So, I don't just teach this stuff on the day of the webinar. I teach it to all my clients. Okay, so ask. One of my clients, that's exactly what she's working on in her personal life, in her business. And then I have other little cheat sheets here. Don't you guys want to know what? It's crazy over here. So I have some specific questions I have to make sure that I ask. Okay, what do I want them to feel? How do I want you to feel? What do I want you to know? And what do I want you to do? Those are three very, very important questions in sales. So somebody write this down. How do I want them to feel? So it's feel, know, do. Three things. Feel, know, do. Feel, know, do. Ask, seek, knock. Feel, know, do. Okay? Because that's what you need to find out from your clients, which we tend to call here. My coach taught me to call the potential clients your beloved. Beloved. Because they're not these random people. A lot of you on this call are my clients. I love you. And, we hang out, we learn, we grow, we cry, we do all sorts of things together that are way beyond just a little tiny business experience. We do life together. And so you are my beloved, and I don't serve all of the world. I serve a certain group. I serve a certain group, and so do you. The more you know who your group is, the more you can find them and they can find you. So that A in sales is that ask, seek, knock. So make sure you're using questions on your pages, on your social media posts. Get people to have conversations with you. The L in the sales, here we go, is listen. Now we can ask all sorts of questions, but we have to take the time to listen. Are you listening? Are you listening to what they want? Are you listening to what they're saying to you? Are you listening to what they're asking for? You know what, if you really want to create a program and serve the people that you're called to serve, ask them what they need. Ask them what they need and then listen. Use polls in your groups. You can do all sorts of things just if we shut up. The hard thing we have is we don't shut up long enough. And I am very good. Everything I'm saying here, I'm preaching to myself. I'm a talker and I talk a lot. And I need to quiet myself down to listen. Last night I was at dinner with one of our members. I don't know if she's here, Catherine. And she was at she was in Paris. She was at a training there that she paid for I think a year ago. And then she ran a half marathon. And many of you have met her or are friends with her on Facebook. It doesn't look like she's here. She's about to fly back to California today. But it was so powerful for me because I was listening to her talk about her journey and what she learned in Paris and the experience she had there with her coach that she was working with. And she said to me, this is powerful for me, an aha moment for me. She said, if the reason that she hired me is because I'm creative. I'm a creativity coach, and I'm the girl. She said, I can't even believe how creative you are. And so that was a moment of clarity for me. So listen to your people. Listen, and I wrote it. I was taking notes of everything she said. I was taking notes. Make sure you have your little notebooks. This is my little bullet journal. Side conversation, but just make sure you listen to your potential clients. And then the E in sales is about expectations. So we've done the S, we've shared, we've asked, we've listened, and now we've got to expect. What are we expecting? Well, we're going to expect some answers. We're going to expect some results. And you know what I've also learned to do? My job is to plant seeds. Our job, I believe our job, if God has given each of us a unique gift, which I know He has, everybody in this room is different. Each of you brings something different to the table. And so my job is to tell the world what I have, put it out there, plant my seeds, plant my little seeds, and then, give the results to God. Give the results. Do the follow-up. I can't just sit here and do nothing. I have to do my own work, and I have to show up, and I have to do the webinar, and I need to send the emails, and all the different systems in place that we can remind you and reach you. But the results are up to God. And I hope you understand the distinction on that. Lots of times I chase the wrong direction. Anybody else guilty of that? Going in the wrong direction. Maybe it was a direction that was right before, and then you just continue to go, and you're thinking, this doesn't work anymore, and you keep knocking, and then you go to the back corner and you grab out your hatchet. You grab out your hatchet, and you're like, okay, I'm going to keep going, God, and I'm going to knock down this wall. So learn to go in the directions that God is opening. That God is opening for you, and God will surprise you. God surprised me constantly, and He still does, with the results that He sends me. Lots of times clients will come to me for private coaching completely out of the blue. We've never talked about it. There's never been some sort of preface. It's like they just, all of a sudden they were ready. So the E is the expectations. And when you go into this, you're going to have, what you also need to do, we always talk about, we don't want to do a white knuckle. If we're white knuckling our life, something's probably wrong. We have to learn how to open up our hands and be willing to receive. Open up our hands, be willing to receive the clients, the money, the income, the change, the growth, the uncomfortableness that God sends. And you know what? Don't clench. Don't be a clencher. Everybody with me? You guys all still here? Give me the high five, give me the bravo, give me the nod, the amen, some sort of thing. I'm about ready to bring on one of our sisters here. So Karen, brace yourself. I'm going to gather you up in a second. Woo, high five. The S in sales is success. So here we go. You know what? You might look around and you might think, oh my gosh, that girl, everything she does, she succeeds. She succeeds. That is total bunk. Okay, everybody write in the chat, total bunk. I need you to know there is nobody that was overnight success. They have had years and years of sitting their butt down in the seat. They have had years and years of crying on the floor or calling their friend and saying, I can't do this, one more minute. Total bunk, total bunk. So this is how we succeed. We say we can't do it. I don't want to do it. How do I do it? I'll try to do it. I can do it. I will do it. And you know what? You're going to go through this cycle. I mean, I go through this probably every, pretty much once a day. And a lot of times I would write in here, I can't do it. I don't want to do it. I'm tired of doing it. I don't know how to do it. Who's going to do this for me? I want to quit and run off and live in, a hut, right? So there's lots of pieces to this. So don't confuse your middle chapter or even your starting chapter with somebody else's chapter number 10. We do that all the time. We look around on the little social media landscape and we do this comparison, competing, judgment, jealousy, all this drama that we don't want to admit to as a nice little Christian girl. But you know what? Sometimes we're not nice little Christian girls. I get a shout out to that. Sometimes we're secretly mean. Sometimes we're secretly snarky. Okay, let's have a mint. And I'll be the first to admit. I mean, I can have a little snarky moment. Maybe you guys are like not into that, but here's my number one secret weapon. Actually, let's bring on. I'm going to bring on for a little bit here. I think she's on the phone. I'm going to bring her on video. Oopsie. Excuse me. Karen Linwell Board is going to come on. I'm going to ask her. She doesn't even know what questions I'm going to ask her because I don't know what questions I'm going to ask her. So Karen should be coming on video, and we were having some trouble with her audio. So let's see if I can get Karen on. Hi, Karen. Let's see. Try talking onto the phone and let me see if I can hear you. No, not yet. Let me get Karen voice on. Okay, let's see about that.
Okay, it says I am now unmuted.
Okay, I can hear you. Can you ladies hear Karen? And see both of them.
Yay!
Yay! Okay, when we first turned on, this is the stuff that people don't know, but they need to know. When we first had Karen come on before you guys all joined us, basically she sounded like she was underneath the water and like the Loch Ness monster was talking out of her mouth. We turned that off, had her call back in, so that's why she's on the telephone. And these are the little silly things you just have to learn to work through. So Karen, what have you learned? And like I said, I didn't give Karen a pre-scheduled list of questions. I just decided to bring her on today because she's one of our just really strong leaders here at NACWE, and she's going to be co-hosting. Karen owns her own counseling center in McKinney, Texas, and she is a Dynamo NACWE leader. And she'll be co-hosting with me the next virtual networking. So next Tuesday and next the fourth Tuesday. So my question for you, Karen, is maybe what ahas have you had just even being here for this webinar so far today, and what have you learned about marketing and sales? Sales, really.
This is my third year with you, so this is proof that sometimes it takes hearing these things about 2011 times before they sink in. So I think the thing that stuck out to me this morning is the listen part. And you've taught us that not only do we need to listen to our customer, but I think that we have to listen to ourselves, what our passions are, what God's called us to do. I've shared so many times that I get so frustrated when a coach, meaning Diane or Kadena or anybody else, keeps asking the same questions over and over and over again. You know, who's your ideal client and how do you reach them and that sort of thing. But if I don't know, you know, and what, you know, what's the face of your company and what's your brand and what do you have to offer and that sort of thing. But if I don't know what I have to offer and what my customer wants, I'm not going to sell anything, Texan, sale. So, I mean, one of the things, for example, in our company, is you have to ask yourself, who are your ideal clients and ideal customers? And we're a relationship referral-based company, right? Counseling. Sometimes people get online and they find us on the internet, and so part of selling is that we have a good website and we answer their questions, enough to get them to make the phone call and make the appointment. But in between making the phone call and making the appointment, what I have to say on the telephone when I answer the telephone is crucial, right? I have to know who we are and what we actually have to offer them. I have to, like you just said, listen to their questions and be able to answer their questions, short version, on the phone before they'll even make an appointment. We get a lot of our clients by referral. I'm sure, Diane, as a coach, you do too. Marcia, as a coach, you do too. So word of mouth and referral is very important. One of our biggest referral sources since we're a Christian counseling office is pastors. And the questions that my clients have and the questions that my pastors have for us are totally, I mean, there's some overlap there, but they're totally different. So, I mean, I think that's what stood out to me is if I don't know myself and my company, what I have to offer, and I understand the value in it, and I know my customer, I'm not going anywhere. Another thing that really stood out to me was the being vague part. So if you look back, Diane, you'll see lots of little comments were popping up during being vague. We're just really vague. We had a retreat a couple of weeks ago. Every year we have a retreat for Christian women entrepreneurs to just relax and take care of themselves, massage therapists and all. No huge agenda, no huge lessons. It's really a great week. And one of the ladies there had been a client here, was an old friend of mine from 20 something years ago. But she basically said she had a session with a counselor here. I knew that she'd be about it. Now look at the book, right? And she said it was wonderful and she absolutely loved this counselor and the advice that she gave her and things like that. But then she said, at the end of our counseling session, I didn't know what to do. And I thought, didn't know what to do? What do you mean? I said, did she give you homework? Christian counseling is full of homework. You should be doing more outside of the session than inside the session, right? Coaching was that way too. And I said, what do you mean? You know, she didn't give you any homework. She said, oh, no, she gave me homework. I knew exactly what to do with that, but I didn't know what to do next. How to make another appointment. Were we going to meet again? When were we going to meet again? What was going on? We could have lost the client over being that vague at the end. And so, you know, at the end of every presentation, you explain to us, and you do it so well, to recommend, here's what we have to offer you, here's what we recommend that you do, here's the steps you need to take, very clear, very clearly lined out. And I think at the end of our coaching and counseling sessions, or you know, writing sessions, or whatever we're doing, we have to make sure that we're answering those questions and not being vague. Vague goes from, gosh, Diane, you could do a whole session on vague. It goes from the beginning to the end. It goes from, you know, understanding what you need to share, what questions you need to ask, how you need to listen, what your expectations are, and how you're going to build success, your questions. And are we being vague in every one of our steps? Those were my takeaways for today. Did I miss a question?
Yes, that's thank you so much, Karen. And I'm going to just highlight a few things that Karen just said, and then we'll dive back in because I've got a few more slides. But a couple of things Karen said were about two big things: relationships and referrals. I mean, those are really, again, I mean, we can be all over and have giant fan pages, but you know, if they aren't converting, then there's a missing link. And it's about the relationship. It's about getting on there and being vulnerable. It's about the referral, and we need to learn that that's part of our system. That part of our system is the relationship building. And you know, most people are not going to jump into the giant pool with you. Most people watch you for a year. or I don't know. I mean, everybody has a different kind of jumping in point. But I know people that watched me for years before they came over into my entry level, which would be NACWE. And so, you know, you're going to have different ways for them to come into your, it's a funnel. We all know that it's a funnel. You've got to have ways for them to come down the loop with you, come down the river, you know, because most of them are not going to jump into my $15,000 one-year program. They're just not. Half of them don't even want to pay $500 a month. They complain about that, or $500 a year, excuse me. Pardon me. I mean, we have a NACWE membership that's $500 for an entire year, and the training is worth probably 10 times that. And this is a free, this is one of our free trainings, obviously, that's out to the public. But we do these trainings for our members constantly, and there's 6.5 years of experts back behind. But those are all part of the funnels. And Karen actually is a great example. Karen first found me probably 2 or 3 years ago on a cafe webinar just like this. So that's really, really important. The relationship and referrals. And then I want to just emphasize a couple other things that Karen kind of touched on. We have to have a call to action. And I forgot to put this on a slide, so these are things you just need to write down. In our little world, people say, call it a CTA. CTA. And at first I was like, what in the world is a CTA? And I finally, you know, you begin to learn these things. And, you know, if you have a wonderful opportunity for somebody to come in and you never have a button at the bottom that says, join me, that's a call to action. If I didn't offer you to come join us at NACWE at the end of this webinar, I would be not doing my job, right? I would not be doing my job if I don't give you that opportunity. So 3 other words I want you to write down. And Karen mentioned these, but I want to make sure you heard them. You're going to do 3 things with your potential clients. You're going to give them an invitation. You're going to see me do it in a little while. You've been seeing me do it throughout. What you want to be able to learn to do is plant your seeds and give invitations throughout your 1-hour training, your 30-minute training, your 1-day training. You're going to give an invitation. You're going to give an opportunity, and you're going to give a recommendation. So if I didn't invite you to come join NACWE, I would be silly. Totally silly. It'd be a waste of my hour to even be here. My second thing is I'm going to give you an opportunity to come farther, would be to come in, you know, come join like a higher level, come join a coaching program, come join a retreat, come do some private coaching. And then the third thing that people will ask you for, if I went into the specialist, here's a great way to see this. If somebody wants, if they come to me and ask me about coaching and I have 5 choices or 10 choices, they're going to be more and more confused. They're going to be confused. I need to have 2 or 3 options and say, you know what, here's my recommendation. You're not at level 1, but you're maybe not ready for level 3 either. Number 2 is probably the recommendation I would give to you to help you from where I sit with all the clients I've served, with all of the experience I've had. If somebody back when I was a counselor came to me and they asked for my recommendation and I just said, oh, I don't know, you pick, I would be remiss. I would be remiss. If you went to a foot doctor and he said, oh, I don't know, you pick, then you can see it more easily in other examples. But remember, our job is to give them, help them, and serve them with a recommendation. And a confused mind does not buy. A confused mind does not buy. So if you have 10 choices and 10 ways, I mean, I'm very guilty of this, of doing too many things and launching too many programs. You know, come back down to your basics. Come back down to your basics. Karen, I'm going to keep going if that's cool with you. Are you good? Okay, thank you so much. Let's give a little bravo in the chat box to Karen. Yay, woo! Karen is going to be hanging with me all month as we do some co-teaching. So NACWE members, come join me next Tuesday for that. So here on the screen is my secret weapon. Okay, actually I've been prefacing that, and I have a couple other secret weapons to whip out here. It's magical. To get a new result and create change, you must, here we go, woo, take action. I know, this is like really, really fancy stuff here. You have to take action. You have to practice that behavior. You have to create the habit. I used to weigh 203 pounds at my heaviest. I've also been anorexic at 122 pounds. So I'm in the middle now, in the 160s. I'm in the 160 to 170. Do I wish I was less? Sure. But am I telling you my weight right here on a live webinar? You bet. Because you know what? I care. That's the miracle of knowing who you are and being okay with it. I don't care because I don't weigh 203 pounds anymore. That's a miracle. I took action. I took action. I practiced the behavior. What it means for me is walking and running and jazzercise, and I'm going to start doing some yoga. And it means I have to create a habit. I have to create a habit. I have to learn that actually makes me feel so much better. Like not weighing 30 pounds more or 40 or 10 helps me to feel so much better because I don't want to be worrying about my butt. Okay, so let's be real honest. I don't have time. If I'm living my mission and doing what all that God has called me to do, I don't have time to be reading weight loss and diet books all day long and worrying about that, about what people think of me. I have to go out there and do it. I want to not have to think about that. I used to think about that and obsess about that all day long, which ended up in me being in an eating disorder clinic when I was 18 years old, and going in, admitting myself on my 18th birthday because I knew I needed help. I knew I needed help. So come back to today. Anything you want to change, your sales, which is what we're here to talk about, your sales, your business, your marketing, your bottom line, you're going to have to take some new action. You're going to have to practice the behavior. You're going to have to create the habit. I have here in front of me what I call the rock bottom closing the sale cheat sheet. I added the rock bottom part on. This is the closing the sale cheat sheet. So part of my process, when a client asks me about coaching, I basically have them go over and fill out my Pick My Brain form. This is my process. You can take it or leave it. If somebody asks me about coaching, I don't automatically get on the phone with them. No, I don't have time. I need to, because I'm serving the clients that I already have, and I'm leading NACWE, and I am leading retreats and having a life. So I need to see if they're ready and if they're serious and if they are going to take some action. So I send them to a link on my website. That's my process. And if you want to go study it and use it as an example, don't copy every single line because I'll find it. Go to dianecunningham.com/pickmybrain. The other one I have that you can see as a different example, dianecunningham.com/lifechange. One is business focused, one is life coaching and life recovery focused. I have them fill that out. Then, and only then, do I set up a phone call with them, and I meet with them on the phone, and I have a process and a script, and I talk to them about the opportunities. Okay, that's my practice, that's my habit. So what I want you to think about, ladies, is that think about, basically we have about 90 days left in this year, probably 88, I think. We are down to the ending of 2016. So I want you to really decide, what do you need to do different? I mean, we're coming to the end again of another year. They whip around, they whip around. So do you need to take that action? Yes, dianecunningham.com/lifechange. Life Change. And that's the program that I have for my Restart girls. And a couple of my Restart girls are right here. We have Restart Your Business and Restart Your Life. Very good. It's good stuff. So 30 days, 90 days. Think about where you need to be and where you are, but where are you going and how are you going to change that habit to get there? Hi, Beth Jones. Time is your biggest resource. Here's some of the things I want to make sure we close up with. What's the time here? Time is your biggest resource, your biggest investment. You are your sales team. So don't be giving me some big sad song. It took me I have a huge team I pay, but guess what? That means I have to pay them. Okay, so, but many, many years, and many of you have known me many of these years, I was my sales team. I am my sales team. I am the marketing department. So don't give me your sad song. I don't want to hear your violin playing. I built NACWE with no sales team. I built it one person at a time, and I used Facebook, and I wasn't paying anybody other than a virtual assistant. And I didn't even have a private coach at the time, okay? So I just did the things. I did the things. And I was my own sales team, and I talked to one person at a time, and I made the referrals, and I got on the phone, and I did the webinar. Actually, I didn't know how to do a webinar at the time. I did phone calls, and I did all the things that I knew I was supposed to be doing. And so please do not give me an excuse that you don't have a sales team, because you are going to build a business by being your own sales team, by honoring your own time, knowing that you are your biggest resource. So I want you to just write that into the box. I am my biggest resource. I am my best example of my own product. You need to claim it. You need to own it. You need to rock your own world. Okay? Because truly, if I am not out there showing the world, like right behind me, I'm looking at my sign that says, I am the trailblazer. And it's true. I am the trailblazer. And if I'm not out blazing the trail, you know what? Some ladies are not going to be able to find the trail. They're not going to be able to find the trail if I'm not pointing them in the direction of the brave experience. Amen? Amen? You know what? We've got to live it, because they see it. They're going to see it, and if they see it, they're going to come and they're going to figure out a way. They're going to figure out a way to exchange some money to get to have more of what you're teaching. All right? And I'm not doing some good quotes over here. I am the best example of my own product, yes. Sales and marketing are not the same. You must market, and then you sell. You need to tell a story, invite them to join you, repeat. Invite them to join you and repeat. So here's a Proverbs 31, the Proverbs 31 girl. She's our rock star. She sees that her trading is profitable, and her lamp does not go out at night. Amen and amen. You know what? Our business is on all day and all night. All day and all night, our business is on. If you have a website, your business is on all day and all night, and your Facebook is out there. And you know what? We don't have to stay up all night. We don't. Because you need to do the work when you are awake. You need to do the work, and you need to talk to the people, and you need to plant your seeds. Seeds, seeds, seeds. Okay? Invest in your own sales learning, create a script, close the sale. Is this helpful for you guys? I'm going to finish up with one more thing, and then we're going to close this baby down. I on my wall, you guys have heard me say this a million times, but you need to hear it again, okay? You need to know what you're willing to receive. And I make my clients write a dollar amount here, and I've got their numbers listed here on my wall. I know. I got it right there. I'm not going to call them out. Write that script, sister. I can help you. You're my client. So this is what I need you to write down. I'm willing to receive X the number of dollars. This is per month for me, but you need to fill it out. It could be per week. For me, it's per month. Per month. That's not writing very well. But what are you willing to receive in exchange for your services, time, your training, your expert skill, your gifting, your education, your knowledge, your heart, your life, your love, your all that? And if you don't know what that number is, then you just work on that today. But I would say pick a number. And you know what? Your number should scare you a little bit. Why? My number scares me a lot bit. And you know what? I've done it. I've done it a couple times. So I know I can do it, and probably I need to raise my number. Probably need to raise my number. But you know what? This is what I'm trading. This is what I'm trading my life for. In the money that comes into me, is I'm not giving away nothingness. I am giving away a membership. I'm giving away coaching. I'm giving away counseling. I'm giving away recovery. I'm giving away the knowledge I've learned from building NACWE. And I'm giving away creativity and all of those things. So remember, what are you exchanging your life for? Be more you, attract the right clients, stop trying to prove yourself, just live into the gifting that you have, okay? So here's my offer. You ready? You've heard me tell you I was going to do it. You already knew it was going to come, but here it is. And most of you are NACWE members, but there's some of you that are out on the fringe. And you know what? It's going to be up to you. It's going to be up to you, because you know what? I don't force anybody to do a darn thing, because you know what? We don't need to control people. Seriously, that's another program. That's Codependence Anonymous. Join us at NACWE. I'm going to invite you to do this. Learn more all year. Surround yourself with like-minded women. Because why? Because you need it. You need it, and you need people like us that get it. And you're going to be surrounded. You're going to be loved. You're going to be challenged. So the invitation is this. Come join us for the 20 online classrooms, the virtual conference, which is next week, the live conference, your listing on the membership directory. We have so much. We have the Facebook group, the expert training. And again, I mean, I showed you all this at the beginning of the webinar, and the virtual networking party twice a month. That's what happens next Tuesday. And the fourth Tuesday, Karen will be there with me for that hosting. We often have monthly challenges, topics. We have a weekly prayer call that is hosted by Barb, and we have our quarterly prayer and fasting coming up. Basically, we have so much that it's 10 times the value. It's 10 times the value that is it's offered for. It's $497 for the entire year, or you can pay in 2 easy payments. So here's the offer. Come join us. Come join us so that you can get the support that you need. Come to our virtual conference, or you can get our $997 membership. That's a little higher level. You know, I'm going to recommend that you come in at $497. That's my recommendation for you. And because it's right in the middle. It's right in the middle, and it's not going to knock you off your chain. And here's my offer. Here's my bonus, actually, my bonus. The first 5 brave action takers, because you know what? Women that make money take brave action. Is it those that join today or by tomorrow, end of the day tomorrow, but I suggest you jump in today. This video will be going out to all my YouTube people. If you join in, you get a bonus power hour with me, just me, and whoever takes advantage of this. And we're going to be on Zoom, which is very personal. We look at each other, we talk, and I'm going to help you with your sales and your marketing. Okay, that's a big deal. It's a big deal. So, but you got to take action. All right, this is me acting like a goof because that's how I am. I hope you join me. I hope you join us for this sisterhood and for honest conversations, for the community that you need, and for coaching and sisterhood in your business. Let me go ahead and close this up in prayer. Father God, we just thank you. We thank you for these moments together. We thank you for any shifts that you are doing inside of us. Help us to be willing to let go so that we can lean in, so that we can get what we are asking you for. And Lord, help us to be willing to ask. Lord, you tell us to ask in the Bible. Ask, seek, knock. Ask, seek, knock. And Lord, that's a very, very simple marketing plan, but it works. Lord, help us to listen. Help us to really just love on people and invite them to come into our world. And really, that's what it's about, over and over again, planting those seeds. Lord, thank you so much for the gift of Karen coming on the call. And Lord, thank you for everyone here watching now, and those that will watch later on our website or on the YouTube page. Lord, thank you, thank you, thank you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right, ladies, have a great, great Tuesday. I've got to go get ready to meet with my clients. Love you guys, and come join us at NACWE. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.